Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. I mean, I feel like I've just seen you.
Right?
It
I thought that Hot Topics was fun though. I have to admit,
was. It was. Talking about something that was like not on a
different.
show is kind of different.
I kind of think we should just do more though, because I think the feedback was overall positive. And it's different. It just gets out of our bubbles a little bit, like see what's really out there, what's going on. There's a lot out there,
hmm
so I think doing that a couple times a week would be good for us and our subscribers.
Did you see what's been going on today as a result of the Potomac reunion part one?
Like which parts though? There's been like a couple. There's been
The
a couple of things.
Jamal rebuttal.
Like the rebuttal. The second, is there a second rebuttal?
I know one got taken down. The
Right.
one where he had his binder upside down. I think somebody said that that got taken down. Smart move because it should have never been put up in the first place.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw. I know. I saw the rebuttal, and it was taken out within an hour. I heard, but it had been shared. It had been
Yes.
shared a lot, so
Yes.
um, it's out there.
Yeah. I watched All About the Tea this morning,
Yeah, I caught
and
the back half of that. Like,
yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm late. I'm like, dude, like it's early. What's going on? Like, I kind of knew some things probably happened behind the scenes, given who the players involved. I'm like, okay. I'm like, if this happened, if Richie Sky went on like midnight last night, I'm like, this is big. And then I'm like, there has to be stuff going on behind the scenes. And then, I got an alert this morning. I'm like, okay, it's going down. And then I hopped on, like, I caught most of it. And I was
All
like,
About the Tea was good. Like
oh no, it was fantastic.
there were people on there dishing stuff like, oh my God. Like I spent half of that show just like
Like some of
and
the stuff I knew I had heard. Okay, I won't say knew. I had heard from other people.
mhm.
So some of it wasn't a shock, but the more like confirming details, I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah, it was
wow.
kind of it makes you really question who we place our trust in our leaders of faith. I'll
Exactly.
just leave it at that. And hey, everybody, Jamal and I were just having a little conversation until you guys could come on into the room. Hi, everybody. Let's see who we have here so far. Hi, Ayn, Heidi, Willow Ann, Dark Lily, Farmata, Queen Bee, and Kuch La Creme. Hi, everybody. And
Are we
today,
ready?
yes, we are doing The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 1, Episode 6, Sundance City. What was your
I
overall impression?
Overall impression is Jen is still a child. I'm like, let it go. It's like, I mean, like it's for me, like I like her overall, but like she needs to let this whole Mary Cosby thing go. Isn't I mean, I always give for the pettiness, I give you 2 episodes, and then I need you to move on. But she's been holding on to this since like episode 2, and
One,
where
the
is it
party,
what the
Meredith.
part? Oh yeah, the party was. Oh yeah, that's right. The party was episode 1 because I thought it should have been in episode 2. That's right. So since
Yeah.
episode 1, and I'm like, no, you do not get to drag this on for 5 episodes. You cannot dislike this
See,
woman for 5 episodes.
and this is what's happening. Heidi says, "Don't like Jen," and you know why? Because we're tired.
Hmm.
It's like a one trick pony. Like we got it. You didn't like the comment. You didn't do anything to resolve it with Mary. Not that you really could have. Mary is very difficult to get any sort of communication through. Like she confuses me. I'll just leave it at
I
that.
mean,
She should have
she's
let it go.
she's like, yeah, Mary's eccentric and a little self-absorbed, so it
You
makes
did
it
not say
communication.
eccentric.
That's what I'm calling it. Okay, like she's eccentric.
Weird.
Basically eccentric. When you have, okay, here's the thing. Here's what I learned. They always say like, if you're broke, then you're weird. But if you have money, you're eccentric. So
We'll, we'll table that for now.
so she just doesn't want to hear what other people really have to say. So
You think this would be a good combination? Cooch La Creme?
ooh,
Mary and Jamal Bryant should hook up.
an alleged that would be an allegedly scamming megachurch. Okay,
She might be too old for Jamal.
that's true.
Hmm.
Allegedly,
Well, no, like
but yeah,
she's around the same age as Giselle, right?
right. But allegedly, I'm saying allegedly Jamal
I
Bryant like
didn't.
younger women.
I didn't want to go there.
I said alleged. But yeah, I agree. Dr. Two, I think I have to agree with you on that. Like Jen and Mary are a bit self-absorbed because let's be honest, they both
Hmm.
want to be queen of the franchise. That's what they're bucking for. Like each feels like they deserve to be queen. Like Lisa Barlow is Kyle, or
Hmm.
what Kyle should have been. And
Should
then
have
you
been
have
as right.
Heather, and Heather is the one who keeps the group like from going off the rails. And then
Hmm.
Meredith is just the mom with the kids and the business. She's like the kind of like the cool mom in a way. Like she's she's to me she's cool. But you have Whitney, like who's like the youngster, like full of life and so much hope and promise and all that good stuff. So it's a good
I
cast.
think we can
But
also assign Whitney the pot stirrer or the bone carrier title.
I keep
We
telling y'all,
can. She keeps that
Ashley Darby,
storyline. Yeah.
Ashley Darby
Mhm.
season one. Like I
Mhm.
said that from the very beginning. This is what's gonna happen. Even before this season, they said Whitney was the pot stirrer or Watch What Happens Live. It is all coming to fruition. But she does it in such a fun way. Like she's like so fun and she does it in a mature way. Whereas Ashley was like 26 and just extremely messy, running around googling folks.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
But yeah,
so let's get into the episode. This is going to be a big Sundance episode, and finally, I think we
hmm
get to see a lot of the ladies at their jobs. We start off with Lisa, and
hmm
she's in the process of planning for the Sundance Film Festival that comes to town every year. Um, Heather is taking her kids to school, and it seems like she's always making them late. Meredith is having a beautiful gown fitted. And this is when we find
hmm
out that Brooks is going to be taking part in the first ever Fashion Week at Sundance Film Festival. And he's like the youngest designer to ever participate. So
hmm
go, Brooks. Um, I
hmm
want to stop here because it just seems like a reincarnation of like She by Sheree. I was a little disappointed when I found out that he's designing tracksuits with his name down the
Right,
side. I could
right.
do that with a
I was
Sharpie.
like, yeah, I think when he said fashion, I'm like, okay, this is cool, this is fun, good job. But when I found those tracksuits and I saw, I was like, oh, okay, like Adidas did this like what 30 years ago. Not to be
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
like having tracksuits with a name down the side is not original.
I know. And yes,
So
I'm being
it
petty.
took
I'm
out.
jealous, you know. But I just wanted to put that
It's
out
really not
there.
that. It's being honest. Like do you remember like back in the day you could buy those like they're like you could buy like patches and you just iron them on your clothes.
Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, we could do that.
Mhm.
It's not being mean. It's just being honest.
Or
Like we could
just
literally.
like a Sharpie. Get you
Well, not
some
Sharpie. I would
joggers.
use.
Get you some joggers from Walmart. I mean,
Yeah,
it'll still turn out better than Robin's hat line, embezzlement, whatever it's called.
embellished.
Same thing.
I mean, embellished could have been cool if there was product, and and the lining didn't fall apart, and they were sold at the right price point. I just don't
Mhm.
see people paying a $30 plus shipping plus tax. So I don't see people paying $40 for an embellished hat when I can probably go to a store and get a nice Yankees cap, probably pro limited, for $20. Am I going to pay $20 for an official Yankees hat, or am I going to pay $40 for embellished? I just don't see it happening. I mean, I could see, like, what I would have done with Robin's line is this, like, okay, here are my hats. What you do, you research like similar hats, you price them accordingly, and then you put them in like a store that can sell them, like, like the beauty supply, um, Target, TJ Maxx, you know, Claire's, and maybe AliExpress. Some of those, look, I mean, I'm just saying, if you want to sell product, that's what you do. You research, price it accordingly, and then you sell it.
Mhm.
I just don't think they did that.
Okay. I have to agree with Gatatua here because once I found out it was joggers,
Yeah,
I kind of felt shades of She by Sheree.
she by sure. But
Yeah.
in fairness, though,
This will
Brooks,
actually be produced most likely.
yes, and like he's not presenting sketches.
Oh,
You know
yes,
what I
I
mean?
remember the sketch
So
party.
he got remember the sketch party. Like, what do I say? What do you call a fashion party, a fashion show with no fashions, a party or something like that?
Mhm.
So he's done a really good job. But I was thinking, like, him being so young, it would be something a little bit more original than tracksuits. Because when I heard tracksuits, I thought back to the old school J Lo velour tracksuits,
Oh,
and I
you
was
mean
like,
like the what were the Juicies or something?
Juicy Couture, yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, but it's cool to see that he's that young and he has like a real business. So that I was happy about, and hopefully maybe he'll come out with some, like, maybe B by Brooks shoes or something to go with the tracksuits.
Okay now. Uh-huh.
Hey, like, I'm trying to help people out. I mean,
I
this is
hope
how
you get
you
a
do it.
cut of that brilliant idea. Be by
Hey,
Brooks.
you get
Oh
the
my God.
B by Brooks. There's some shoes. Maybe come up with some like Ray Brooks sunglasses. Make a whole line out of it.
The only thing that I did appreciate about that segment was when he actually said the only reason why he has that line is because of his mom. Point blank,
I
period.
mean, but he's doing what he's supposed to do, though. He's building a bit. He's doing what housewives don't do, and it's not the funniest thing. He is the son of a housewife, but
Hmm.
he is building a business and promoting it on the housewives, and other housewives don't do the same thing. They run around whining.
Someone's sending you a message.
I mean, I'm not so much encouraging. I'm just like saying what I would do in that
Hmm.
position. That's all. Not encouraging. Just putting it out there.
Yeah. Okay,
Because
so
like I say again,
now, mhm,
mhm. Now I was just
no, go
saying
ahead.
he's doing what other housewives who've been on the show for 10 plus years haven't
Should
done.
be doing. True, true.
That too. So I'm not going to knock him for that. I support that.
Uh-huh. Be by Brooks. Okay, so then we go over to Jen's office where she's roller skating in the hallway. And apparently, this is for team building, which to me meant I don't have any marketing gigs over Sundance like how Lisa does. Then she starts hula hooping with the skates on and falls on her backside, which is probably the most epic part of this episode. She manages to hoist herself back up, where Stuart proceeds to fan her while going through her non existent schedule. Then we pop over. She lets us know, Jen lets us know that her cousin is a filmmaker and will be having a film in the festival. And she will be doing the premiere at her home, the chalet. So I guess another excuse to have a party at the chalet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope it's
Mm-hmm.
actually for her cousin this time and not just for her.
Right.
We also get a new nickname for Stuart. Apparently, when he gets drunk, he starts rapping and he's Stew Chains. He's called Stew Chains. That might make her a little bit more interesting if we see that later on. Um,
Right.
we flash back
I have
to
a question.
Lisa. Uh-huh.
Besides getting into fights and throwing parties, have we seen Jen doing anything else?
Um, Cry, throw a hissy fit in a parking lot, scream at her friends. No, like
Hey,
I
I mean, I was
said,
waiting.
she's got these marketing companies, but it doesn't look like she's marketing anything during Sundance.
True,
Find
which
it
was odd
very
to me.
odd. Mm-hmm. Find it very, very odd. But Lisa is hustling. She's at another event space. She says she is booked and busy all 10 days of the festival doing
Yep.
multiple events for multiple clients. She
Yes.
is at all of these events. She got her husband, got the U-Haul, dragging in, moving furniture, doing the do, pushing her vodka. I finally saw a vodka bottle in one of these shots. You know,
Hmm.
you got to give her credit.
My favorite part of that segment was like seeing her running around, like just doing her thing. Like you could see she's in her mode.
Hmm.
Um, and it was like it was so cool to see her do that and be involved. It was great. And then her husband's confessional, they're like, "Did she coach you for this confessional?" And he's like, "I plead the fifth," basically.
She did. She did.
That oh yeah, that was just too funny to me because he was like, y'all not gonna trip me up this first season. You might get
Mhm.
me. Um, you might get me in later seasons, but not this season.
And I apologize if I said it was vodka. It's tequila. Like I guess she has the tequilas, but she's also doing a vodka. If I misspoke, I'm sorry. I don't know any of her brands, and I don't drink tequila, so sorry if I got that wrong. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. Um, she also says something that I made a note of. In her confessional, she says that she loves the LDS church because she appreciates the constant pursuit of being your best self. So I guess that
Mhm.
ties in with what Heather was saying, like there's a constant striving for perfection.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
I think as we get to know Lisa a little better, if she will open up a little bit more, we'll understand. I think this is at the core of who she is.
You're right. But Lisa's playing her role, and
Hmm.
she's like I go back to this. She's doing what Kyle should have done. Like she's very present, but not. She still remains the nucleus.
Hmm.
Kyle got overshadowed by like pretty much all the women in the first season except for Taylor in the second
Hmm.
season. So, granted, that show was built around her. She got lost in the shuffle because she didn't have a business going on. Like, she really didn't have anything exciting going on. So,
Hmm.
she kind of got she basically got glossed over. Lisa has her businesses, she has her husband, she's got like she's a part of a huge like festival, she's hustling, like you see her present. So she's doing what she's supposed to do. And I think this, like you said, this is the core of who she is, like the striving to be her best, doing the hustle, like taking care of her family. So I like her for that aspect.
Okay. Another message for you, Jamal.
Yeah.
Let's see. Um, okay, so where do we go next? Whitney. We go over to Whitney. Um, she's telling her husband about the crap show that the Met Gala luncheon was. Jen comes over because she's doing like a little hot tub party with
Mm-hmm.
her. And this is why I love Whitney. Whitney tells her point blank, period, you come to my husband's birthday party. It's very important to me. Behave or else.
Right.
Love
Exactly.
Whitney.
She's just
Love Whitney.
so open and honest. Like, look, don't be coming here
Mm-hmm.
acting a fool. Like, we all here have a good time. It's not about you and Mary. And she's laid down the
Mm-hmm.
ground rules. And I just like her openness. Like, she's so open. She's so honest. I mean, how can you not like her at this point? In my opinion,
Mm-hmm. Her husband, why did I think her husband was only 18 years older than her? How old is she? She's like 32, right?
something in that range.
Because if he's 52 and she's 32, that's like 20
Yeah, what you
years.
got? Because she
Okay.
is. Oh, sorry. So sorry. I'm looking up right now. Just double check.
Unless she's
Uh,
34, then that
she's
would be
34.
18. Okay, so then,
She's
all right.
34.
All right. Okay. All right. So then, she also says something else that was very smart, which was kind of Karen-esque. She goes, I'm not choosing sides. Everybody is my friend. Case closed. And I don't think anybody attacked her for it like how they attacked Karen on Potomac.
Right. Because the difference is this is Whitney's first season, so there's no quote unquote character personality established. With
Mm-hmm.
Karen, it's a little bit different. Like she's not this we're finally getting the real Karen in season 5. So that's why the ladies on Potomac are reacting to Karen so harshly versus the ladies reacting on Salt Lake City to Whitney. Whitney's just coming out from the gate saying, "Look, this is how I feel. This is how it is." Karen kind of like was playing into the whole Grand Dame um
Mm-hmm.
scenario. So, but now like Karen's like, "Look, I'm not taking this no more." Now they're like, now they mad.
Okay. All right. I can feel that. All right. So, do you love it that her react to Jen's reaction to all of this goes back to the sob story from the luncheon, I just love everybody so hard and I feel like I
Right.
was attacked. This is why
With her,
people are getting tired of her.
right. With her, it's like the same
Nobody
story.
cares
Like
at this
it's
point.
not that we don't care.
No, I don't care.
We cared. We cared at the beginning. If we're gonna be
Episode
honest, I
1.
cared.
Uh-huh.
Correct. And then I cared at the luncheon. Now it's like I don't care.
Mhm.
Everything can't go back to the same place. Move forward. This is I mean, and also I'm taking her all her life into context. So if I have 3 businesses, 2 children, a husband that's a full-time coach at university,
Mhm.
um I'm sorry, if I have all this going on in my life, I'm not going to be concerned about this one person who I really don't know and we're not that cool. I'm
Mhm.
just not doing it. And maybe that's just me, my personality. I tend to dismiss things that don't matter. Like,
Mhm.
it's not that important. Like, does this affect my daily life? Does Mary Cosby affect her daily life? No. So why is she dragging this on? Like, you should focus on yourself. If you get a storyline, focus on the businesses. Focus on getting those pep talks from Coach Shaw every morning. Focus
Mhm.
on stuff like that. Quit focus on Mary Cosby. Quit giving energy to someone you don't like and who really don't like you.
If only she could. Okay, so then we're seeing Whitney, I guess she was at the hairdresser or something like that. Meredith gives her a call and asks Whitney to walk in one of the fashion shows. That's a good idea. She's a cutie patootie, so she says yes. Then Meredith calls Lisa to see how she was doing, and I think that call got cut a little short because she was
Mm-hmm.
busy.
She was. She been. I mean, she is. Lisa was not playing. She's all over Sundance.
I'm surprised she even answered the phone because remember later on when her kids' nanny calls her, she doesn't accept the call because she's like, when I'm at Sundance, I'm only thinking
Mm-hmm.
about my business. That's
But
it.
she knows Meredith's going through a tough time.
Yeah.
This is a big day for Brooks. Seth is not going to
Hmm.
be there, so she's very conscious. She's
Hmm.
very aware, and I'm finding more like Lisa may not say too much, but she's aware of what's going on with everybody. So I like that about her. I'm glad she took that call.
Yeah, it's also significant that I guess it shows me that she values this friendship. Like this is a real friendship for her and not
Mm-hmm.
someone that she met on the show. So
Right.
it did show that to me. Um, then we go over to Mary's house
Mm-hmm.
and we're in some room that's got a bunch of clothes and shoes and event like this looks like she took a spare bedroom and just threw all her overflow in there.
Yeah.
Um, and she's with her. Okay, I had to rewind this and write this down. Charlinda, who's Mary's housekeeper, it's her grandmother's brother's daughter. She's known her for over 20 years. Or, sorry, she's been with her for over 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not close at all. She don't know none of her business. But at the end of the day, they're family.
Yeah, that lost me.
None of it made sense to me.
She's family, but she's been with you 20 years. You don't know anything about her outside of work, but she's family. So, okay, now that I've said it in that way, now I understand. She's been with you 20 years. You don't know anything about her, but she's still part of your family, which means y'all have a strictly business relationship.
Somehow, somebody's been in your employ for over 20 years who has helped you raise your child. You don't know nothing about them outside of what time they supposed to show up for work and what time they supposed to leave.
Right,
Stop lying, Mary.
right.
Get your shit together. Whatever you're on, gear it down because you
Heidi
ain't
Mar-
making no damn sense.
Heidi makes a point. She doesn't care to know anything about her. True, but
It's just
again,
crazy.
does Mary care about anybody outside of anybody but her husband and her child? No. We have to remember. We have to remember that.
Oh, and I did have one funny thing about this particular scene. When she was dancing, did that or did that not remind you of Whitney Houston dancing with Bobby Brown and being Bobby Brown when they was buying the sunglasses?
Yeah.
Oh my
Now
God.
that you bring it back, now that you bring it up, yeah.
It looked like a crackhead dance. I'm sorry. It was, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, Whitney Houston? It just gave me flashbacks because that's my favorite. That's like my first reality show and like one
Mm-hmm.
of my diehard favorites. But yeah, she gave me Whitney Houston tea all day long with that dancing. Um, then we move over to Heather. Heather calls Mary um, because she's worried about Mary and Jen meeting up again at the birthday party.
So here's another. At this point, this is another thing. The other ladies keep bringing this up. If they would
Mhm.
quit bringing it up, it would die down. If y'all keep worrying about Mary and Jen, then there's gonna be a Mary and Jen issue. Let
Mhm.
Mary and Jen handle that, and y'all quit talking about it.
But I think Whitney had to bring it up. because all she did was issue a warning: behave at my party. She
Right.
didn't call no names. She just said behave. You know.
Fair.
Um, but Heather, this screamed at me. I'm still trying to get screen time.
I mean, Heather's
Bless her
which part?
heart.
Which part? Which part? Which part gives you?
Calling Mary to ask her.
Well, Heather. Like Heather's playing her part too. She's the calm one. She's the one who wants everyone to get along and kumbaya. So she has to do that. It's not so much screen time. Heather's gonna get her screen time.
Yes, it is.
So
Because here's
she
why. We
she's
didn't
she
see anybody going to get Botox at her spa this episode. This would have
well
been the
no
perfect time to see how busy she is at
for Sundance.
during, yeah, like if she's putting gift certificates in somebody's swag bag, something like that.
But that's not her storyline this episode. Her storyline is trying to get some. So her storyline was already mapped out. So she's fine. She who cares about the business
Oh
during
my
Sundance?
god. Oh
She's on the
gosh.
prowl.
All right. So we finally get to Whitney's husband's birthday party.
Mhm.
And we do what do you call these? Like belly shots, navel shots? I
I
don't
don't know
know.
what that was. I was like,
That
sir,
was
I understand it's your
Coyote Ugly gone wrong.
wrong. I was like, sir, I understand it's your party, but um, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, can you
Well,
give Willow? So
mm,
Willow has a question. If Mary got
yeah.
kicked out of the church for drugs, how did she accept back to church? So what happened was
Mm.
what happened was the grandfather got her back in,
Body shot.
and since everyone believed in the grandfather as he was head of the church, they accepted her back. That's how that happened.
Oh. Okay. Thanks guys for the for I could not remember what that was called. Body shots. Yes. Thank you, loves. Okay, so um I love Heather's comment on her cousin Whitney. Like we see the body shot thing, and then they get on the party bus, and Whitney's giving her husband a crotch dance in his face, and like Heather's like, she's young. This is exactly why he married her. She know how to turn up. I was
Hmm.
like, okay, that's a
That's the
ringing
truth.
endorsement.
Hmm.
Okay, so the bus takes them like on this little scenic tour or whatever, but then they go to Catherine's house. And Catherine owns a major club in their city called Park City Love or something like that.
Hmm.
So she's rich and well to do and very influential. And she hosts the party for Whitney and her husband, she has a beautiful home. Um, that's a chalet. Oh my God. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Mary did not do the bus. I remember Jen making a comment about that before. So Mary came on her own directly to Catherine's home. And it seems
Hmm.
like at certain points she was just lost and wandering by herself.
Hmm.
Um, and then she kind of rolls up on Jen.
Which is dumb. I wouldn't have done it. Again, I go back to this. If I don't like you, you don't like me. Like I'm not gonna deal with you, and I'm not gonna seek you out, even if it is for camera time. I'll get
But
my camera time talking to other people.
it was kind of awkward how she approached. She was like, "What's up?" Yeah.
But here's the thing.
And
That's how
she
you
just say
tell.
hi.
But here's the thing. That's part of it, and the other thing you can tell that's they don't have a relationship. They're not that cool. Because when you're cool with somebody, there's not like if I've when I've gotten in fights with friends, it's like okay, like when I see you, it's not gonna be awkward. I'm gonna put my arm around you, like let's have a conversation, and we have a conversation. We keep it moving. Like that whole awkwardness. Whether Mary approached Jen or Jen approached Mary, it's gonna be awkward because y'all don't like each
Yeah.
other, and y'all fronting for the cameras, or y'all trying to front for the cameras, and they working. We not fools.
And I couldn't even figure out what she had on. Like someone with all the extra clothing, like she's taking homeless chic to a whole nother level. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
Mhm.
Um,
But I like what Ebony Dick said. It's called civil. It's like, but it's like with those two, Ebony, they don't know how. They just don't know how. They don't know how to get there.
I don't know. I guess it was civil for them. It was civil for them. Okay. We find out that Lisa can't make it because she is completely overbooked for Sundance, so she's not
Hmm.
making the party. Um, Jen, this is where Jen lost me completely.
Again?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's at least twice an episode she loses me. But she has the nerve to say that she did not call Mary a grandfather effer.
Well, okay.
And
I'm
wait,
going.
and whether she says it directly to her or loud enough for the whole speakeasy to hear it, she still said it.
Jen is playing semantics. That's not what she said. She said you're gonna go. You're gonna like go with Mary Cosby, who F's her grandfather. Jen is playing. That's what people aren't understanding. Jen is playing semantics, and for some reason, the people are falling for it. Like, yes, you did not say those words exactly as everyone else is relaying them. You are correct in that vein, but you implied that she is. So quit playing.
It was like I don't know if I could ever get back on the Jen train after this.
I kind of
Um,
got off the Jen train because she's still on the same subject.
okay, so everybody enjoys the party, I guess, because next we go to Meredith at her boutique and she's prepping for the fashion show. She's putting like the jewelry styles together
Hmm.
from her line. Um, I guess to match with what she's walking in her show. Good for her. Nice product placement.
Yep.
Um, and we actually see the joggers or the track suits that Brooks designs.
Hmm.
Again, nice product placement. This whole
Beautiful.
episode was product placement, if you ask me.
Yep. But they're doing what they're supposed to do as housewives. They've learned
Mhm.
from the mistakes of other housewives. And we gonna promote our business.
But not only their businesses, but we must have went to at least four different local restaurants.
Yep.
The club got a promo from Catherine. We got to see the Lisa's marketing business, her
Hmm.
vodka. We I'm still iffy with Jen's marketing company. I ain't gonna lie. All we saw was a hallway, and that could be someplace in her chalet. Just saying. But yeah, it was a lot of product placements in addition
Hmm.
to the overall theme, which was Sundance Film Festival.
Yes, it was perfect.
Um,
They're
we
doing what they're
find
supposed to do.
true, true, but it was a little overboard in this one. Um, we find out that Seth is not coming to the fashion show. And Brooks really wants him there. He's disappointed. Um, but Meredith makes an excuse and says that Seth is taking over a new company in Ohio. And then we find out that Chloe and Reed, the other kids, aren't going to be there either.
Mm,
So I guess everybody has a life.
correct.
Sorry, Brooks. Um, Lisa's setting up yet another event. Then we see the scene with the babysitter and the kids, and they try calling her and they get call declined. But I guess they're with the babysitter, so she knows that they're good. But wait, what if it was an emergency?
That too. She probably looked like the husband's there.
No, because she's got the husband as slave labor. Remember with the U-Haul?
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. Because
You're
you know
right.
Lisa is
She
not
should.
gonna book a babysitter if her husband could take care of them kids.
True.
So yeah, that was my only issue with that. Let's see. Next, we have Heather meeting up with Whitney for drinks. And Heather starts talking about the drinks from the bar, saying that they're watered down, and the reason for that is because um, the Mormons are the like they're in politics, and they put restrictions on the alcohol served at bars and restaurants, so that undercover Mormons like her can't get their buzz on at local establishments. She's so funny. If she can step back into another Mormon church, I would pay to see that.
Right.
Mm. Um, she also starts talking about how Whitney got it right. Despite all the challenges that she went through, the excommunication that she and her husband had to endure, they found each other, they found love, and she feels like she wants that because she chose religion over love,
I'm
and
sorry, Miss
and
Ross. Go ahead,
and
keep going.
she now wants to use this chapter of her life to find love. And I'm like, girl, bye. You chose a
So
lifestyle.
here's the right. I have to go back to this. Heidi asked, "Why isn't Jen marketing for Sundance?" Um. Oh, where's that?
Exactly.
Because they usually go with actual agencies or creative. Oh, FM. Are you saying Jen's businesses are fake?
I just don't think she has any business. And I thought the event company that had all the rentals, I thought that was hers. One would figure somebody would be renting from her during Sundance, and it don't seem like it because she got plenty of time to hula hoop and roller skate up and down the hallway.
My thing is, I'm kind of with you on that. My thing is this: why aren't you and Lisa Barlow um collaborating?
Lisa don't want none of that. Lisa is actually out there working. She has her non-paid labor, aka her husband, working. What would Jen be doing there except causing trouble and strife? We've seen how she sets up an event at her own house. No,
No,
I wouldn't collab with her.
no,
Not if I was a serious business person. No,
can't handle it.
no, she's just not professional. It just looks like a bunch of chaos. No, nobody like there's enough problems in event planning, and you don't need that kind of energy from Jen. Like I could work with Lisa all day long in event planning, not with Jen.
Mm, poor Jen.
Mm-mm.
That's all I got. Poor Jen.
Mm-mm.
I can't find
So
it. Unfortunately, I'm trying to
what?
Google. Jen. How do I know the name of her business?
You
She
can't
got
find her
three, so
business?
let's see.
Trey has a very good point. Sundance is supposed to be about the films. Jen will make it all about her. So true. Spritz and glitter on everyone at Got to do. Oh my God. The glitter would be just slightly less annoying than Jen. Um, okay, so next we go on to we find out that Jen is hosting the premiere for her cousin's film at her chalet. So I guess this is her contribution to Sundance adjacent something.
Hmm.
Um, and the film is pretty interesting. It's about a rap group, and they're the you know it's I guess about their life and how they deal with being people of color in Utah and being in a rap group.
Hmm.
So we met her cousin. Um, yeah, and we met the guys who are the rap group. It was a really good party. It looked quite similar to Meredith's birthday party setup, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Um, okay, so that happens. They show the film, and then the party's on. And Heather is there. Whitney is there. Let's see. Heather says that Sundance is an opportunity for her to meet people.
Hmm.
And this is where she says, I'm always looking for sex, but not looking for love.
Okay, guess what, guys? Hold on. I found one of Jen's businesses.
Oh, good Lord.
It's called Shaw Beauty.
Really?
And there's a link. Yeah. So here, like, I'm gonna let you finish this because there's another part she said.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, go ahead because that was the only
Okay,
note that I made.
sure. So with
Mm-hmm.
this comes back to when I first thought of Heather. What happened? She feels like she doesn't fit in. She feels like people don't want her due to her divorce and
Mm-hmm.
who she got divorced from. She feels like everyone judges her, so no one born and raised in Utah or in the area is gonna like want her or love her, and they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna judge her. So I'm like, I felt bad for her. So it's not like I think what it is it's not that she doesn't want love. It's just like she's kind of given up on finding anyone in her immediate area. And since she has three children, I don't see her in a business, like very good business in the area. I don't see her moving anytime soon. So at this point, she's given up.
I would believe that. But was she excommunicated from the church?
So you can, from what I've read, you can divorce like civilly in Mormonism. What it is that it sounds like her husband left her, and the fact that his family is so like famous and so wealthy, while she wasn't excommunicated, she is very looked down upon in society. And she's pulled away because her views don't exactly align with traditional Mormon views. So given all of those factors, she feels ostracized and like unwanted and not lovable by the men in the area because it's like most people who live there grew up there. Versus a Whitney, she just did what she wanted to do. She was excommunicated because she committed adultery. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why she was excommunicated. So yes, they're both not in really in the Mormon faith as of now. Their circumstances are very different. Whitney's just chosen to do what she wants to do and it has accepted the consequences. Um, Heather, on the other hand, wasn't excommunicated, but she's basically shunned. So
Mm-hmm.
being shunned comes is to me looks worse than Whitney just being completely deleted out because Whitney's not living her life under Mormon rule. Um,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't seem to really miss the Mormon way of life. Whereas Heather seems like she misses the connection she had, like the life she had, the lifestyle she had. So she's more she's more sad in this case because she still wants to be a part of the Mormon culture, but she's not really welcome.
Heather is living in regrets that
Mm-hmm.
honestly should be for Whitney. Whitney don't give two tosses. She went on
Right.
and lived her life. Heather has regrets until she sees some black dingling
Here's
and
the difference though
then
between one.
mm,
I was like, here's the difference between Whitney and Heather. Whitney made a choice. Heather, a choice was made for her. It's very different when you,
Jamal.
sorry about that.
Oh,
It's different when you make the choice versus the choice being made for you.
right. But the choice was made. Now, why is she not moving on?
got the two
Go
words,
after
but
what you want.
isn't it because she's Mormon, royalty Mormon? Yes, like so. Got the two. Like Heather's family was a famous family. Heather and Whitney are cousins, so they come from the same family. So their family was very famous in the Mormon lore for them being bodyguards of the prophet, their great grandfather or something like that. But Heather was married to like one of the most affluent, if not the most affluent, gay family in Utah, who are worth billions. So for her to be kind of cast aside, divorced, it's a huge deal. So while people may not have been mean to her, they weren't really trying to be around her like that due to who the family was where she was cast out.
But based on what she said, she didn't want none of them anyway. She want her a piece of dark meat from KFC.
I really, I think when she wants to do what she wants to do, but she also wants that lifestyle. She
But
misses
she
that
has it
status.
because her husband still
She
supports her
misses
and
that,
the children.
but she misses that status though. She does not have that status. From why I'm just going by what I understand. Based
Mm-hmm.
on what I understand, status is everything in Mormon culture, and it's a very big deal to be cast out by one of the most affluent families in Utah. It is what it is. So I think yeah, she could say that she wants to do what she wants to do, great, but she misses being the wife, being Mrs. Gay. Like she misses that because if you really notice, if she had really wanted to be out there like that, like do her own thing, and she had no regrets, why is she still going by Heather Gay?
I think because of the
Let's be
children.
honest.
Because of the children. It's just a bit more convenient while they're still in school, like, at least up until secondary school or whatever, or high school.
True, but you like why not use your maiden name as well? You can keep your last you can keep the gay part. I understand wanting to have the same name as your children. I get
Mhm.
that. But if you truly want to move on, she should have put
But
her maiden name.
who's to say that when she changed to her married name Gay, that if she didn't, like, some people have to swap out their actual birth middle name for their maiden name if they want to keep it.
What do you mean? I'm not following. I'm sorry.
I had a friend of mine who got married down here in Florida and she wanted to keep her maiden name.
Hmm.
So say her name was Debbie Ann Gay, right? And she
Okay.
wanted to change it to Smith as her last name,
Hmm.
but she wanted to keep Gay as her maiden name. She had to drop Ann and do
Okay.
Debbie Gay Smith.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. True. I'm interested to see. I'm just interested to see how this plays out because her actions and her words don't quite match for me. So I'm interested to know how she really feels.
This is a good question. I didn't think about it until Miss Prettily Random asked it. Was she, was her marriage arranged because since they were two prominent families? Do we know that? Or like did they get together in high school or college or whatever?
Let's see. This am I reading this right? But she would never consider separation. I'm sorry, guys. My apologies. I'm clicking on this article real quick because I'm interested in this.
Oh, and this party that Jen shows, I think she did the most generous thing she's done in all of these episodes. She asked Curtis to go over and talk to Heather.
Right.
And Whitney and Jen sit there like two big sisters watching this whole thing take place. And poor Heather, this girl ain't got no game. This
Oh.
is why she ain't getting no black peen. It's because I don't know if it's because the cameras were on her, but that
Okay.
wasn't working for me.
I
But thank
found
God Curtis
this.
put up with it.
So there's an article at strib.com.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a excerpt from the article. So Heather says I chose him because he was Mormon. While planning a party for 5 of her employees while pregnant, Heather opens up about her divorce. She feels like a failure because she thinks she didn't live up to her religious ideals. I chose him, not because he was the love of my life, she says, but because he was Mormon. And she really resented him for leaving me because I felt like my entire life I had curtailed my natural instincts in order to achieve this family and this marriage and the temple and these children. I had given up a lot. And now he was saying he was giving up on me. When Jen asks Heather if you should stay married even if the marriage is terrible, Heather replies 100,000,000%. For all her brash exterior, Heather is carrying a lot of pain. So yeah, that was she hasn't gotten over it yet, and I understand that. So she's
We
going
need
through a lot.
we need to find her a therapist. Let's call up Potomac. They've got a lot of therapists over there.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of said that before the season started. I'm like, this is the way she's coming across to me. I wonder if I'm reading the culture and the society correctly, and it looks like I wasn't too far off.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
Okay.
it's nice to see that Jen has like we found a business, Shaw Beauty. She got charcoal mask, daily cleanser, agel serum, a lash formula, night cream, and a day cream. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, anytime I can find a housewife business that's legit and has product, I'm happy for them.
All right now. Okay, so special guests at the party. We have Lala and Katie from Vanderpump Rules. I didn't realize that they were from Utah, but yay. Let's see. Another gem that Heather says to Curtis: girls love men with big equipment. Until they displace your cervix and uterus, they love them. Let's see. And then Heather promptly leaves with Curtis. Do you think
Okay.
that they made it to the car before she had him stripped naked?
I mean, it is Utah, so I'm assuming they have some decorum. Like, they at least wait until they got into the car. Just
You
saying.
have more faith in her than I do. Okay, so and when they leave, you see the two conspirators, Whitney and Jen, um, giving a toast to her getting a booty call. Yay!
Hmm.
Um, Back at Meredith's house, Brooks, Brooks and Meredith are getting ready to go to his fashion show and the one that she's walking in. And Meredith is telling him he's going to be late, that they have to leave now. And
Hmm.
he's like, Mom, can you call and tell them that I'm going to be 15 minutes late? Really? Because he's doing a face mask. Uh huh. And it doesn't even look like he's ready. And then
He
the
looks
toilet
nervous.
explodes. The smoke detector goes off. How is the smoke detector connected to the toilet?
That made no sense to me.
There was poop on the floor. This house was a mess. They wind up being 45 minutes late. Great. He's really taking this amazing opportunity very seriously.
Hmm.
Whitney is getting her hair and makeup done. Meredith is getting her hair and makeup done. Seth sends a video message with very inspirational words to Brooks, but Brooks, you can tell, really wanted him to be there.
Hmm.
Um, Meredith has her confessional and she finally cracks and she cries and she says that she screwed up and that she didn't protect her kids.
Yeah,
Um, I read way too deep into that confessional.
I think it's just I get what she's saying,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't protect your children from everything. It's impossible. They're they're older. They kind of know. Kids know more than parents think.
They're
So
adults.
they know they're adults now. So Brooks, I think Brooks was just doing a little bit much for the camera because in my opinion, like your dad really hasn't been around. Like you weren't okay, how can I put this? I would have been more upset that my father wasn't there for my mother's birthday more than I'd be upset for him not being at my fashion show. Because that is a more important personal day than a fashion show. You you while you'll remember the fashion show for what it is, that's a business thing. Birthdays are emotional connective days.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to be so upset about him not being there for you and your fashion show, which he can watch on YouTube, that tells me a lot about how much he knows about the actual situation. Therefore, Meredith shouldn't really feel as bad as she does.
I just took that as being him being selfish. Because it's all about him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've got Queen in the back room. Let's bring her up. Hello, Queen.
Hello, good evening, Jamal and Miss Debbie. Good evening, everybody in the chat. Oh,
Where
what
did
happened to
Jamal go?
Jamal?
I don't know.
Did I scare
He'll be
him?
back. Oh, I probably scared him. Um, what were your thoughts on this episode?
I'm still trying to work out everybody's names because sometimes I get them all confused.
Mm-hmm.
I like Heather and I like Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
Jen gets on my nerves.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what you were saying in regards to Heather is correct in terms of needing counseling, and also what Jamal was saying, because we have to understand she's grown up in a system, in a church, in a religious set that is basically about arranged marriage and living a certain kind of lifestyles and having ideals.
Yeah.
So she never was able to really come into her own, like a lot of young women now in the Western world, in terms of being able to make your own choices when it came to marriage and marrying people that she never got to explore when it came to, like, we're seeing the fact that she's stepping out of her zone with
Mm-hmm.
Black men. Do you get what I mean in terms of the comments
Mm-hmm.
and the things that she said? But she never got to explore that when she was younger because the
Mm-hmm.
ideal in her head was the Mormon society. So yes, she chose the husband, but at the same time, it was based off those ideals and principles and living up to that standard. And we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about a different type of classism as well, in
Yeah.
compared to, you know, how middle middle class operate in terms of dating and how
Mm-hmm.
the working class operate now in terms of dating. So it's very different how they operate.
She did say that she wish she was able to like date and have like to me I took it as have some sort of other sexual experience than going to her husband a virgin. Like I think she just wanted to explore who she was as a young woman.
Yeah.
But instead she went from her parents' home to her husband's home, you know, and I feel she feels like she missed out on something.
Yeah, because you hear there's something that also correlated as well for me when it came to that situation that was in the episode where there's another woman that she's got a bit of conflict with that's ignoring her and was saying that she was like the fun girl at school or at
Oh,
college or something like that.
yeah,
Her
Lisa.
name?
Lisa.
So you can see in regards to that relationship as well, there's issues that correlate with the society she was brought up in, how she's
Mm-hmm.
looked upon, and her reaction towards being shunned away from certain types of people and certain types of situations because of how hard she's going for that other, the, like, some people would be the type of people who would be just like, well, if she doesn't talk to me in this circle, I'm not going to keep making the effort or try to, you know what I mean, continue to explain myself. But she comes from a different set of thinking.
She's craving that acceptance of the people that she grew up with, like, you know, and then I also got a tinge of jealousy because she's like, well, they're accepting someone who converted, Lisa, and I'm one of the founders, you know, like my family's one of the founders, and I feel like I'm being excluded.
I can
then it's also kind of, sorry, Jamal, say that again.
I was going to say the reason why they're accepting of Lisa is because Lisa adheres to their ideals of what a perfect Mormon should be. Heather, on the other hand, her husband left her. He was loaded. His family was influential. Yes, her family is still influential. That is the reason they haven't totally like cast her aside all the way. They just shun her a little bit. Lisa, we have to remember, Lisa converted. So in her mind, she's like, you know what? In order to be accepted, I have to be perfect. I have to go by these ideals. I have to do this and that. Otherwise, they won't accept me because I wasn't born into this. So, yes, people will accept you. They accept Lisa to a certain degree. But if push came to shove, they're going to go with lineage with Heather versus Lisa. If we boil it down to the bare bones, they're gonna take Heather over Lisa due to lineage.
Okay. I'm gonna bring up Gatatua. Queen, did you have something else to add on? Queen?
The other thing that with that, within the Mormonism, there's similarities in the sense to, you know, like in 90 Day, what we were seeing with Submit and his wife and the divorce, and how the culture looks and frowns upon the wife because the husband divorced her, and the fact that the community is looking at it like, you must have done something to your husband for him to leave you and go with this, you know, with Jenny. So there's similarities in the Mormonism of that kind of thing, that your husband divorced you, you guys are supposed to be together forever. There's supposed to be this ideal of even bad times, good times, whoever's having affairs or whatever, you know what I mean, even though that's not allowed, you still stick together. So the fact that her husband's left her, they're also looking at her as, well, you're damaged or something's wrong with you while your husband left.
And what's worse yet, hi Gatatua, I think she sees herself as damage, and that's the worst thing for me. You know, sometimes you can ignore what other people think, but then it's what you think of yourself that could cause the most damage. Poor thing.
But seeing as this is like still very fresh for her, and the fact that she's managing the kids and all the business and stuff, I do think it's a good thing in terms of therapy to be able to work through her finding herself, because this is really the time that she should be taking to sort of, you know, work on those little bits and pieces of herself that need fixing, if she's, you know, to a certain extent aware of it.
Gatatua, did you have any thoughts on this episode? Hello, my dear.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, my network is acting up, but I'm hoping it will behave.
No worries. I know Jamal is going through the same thing.
Yes. I actually agree with what Queen is saying, and I will add a tiny aspect to it in terms of when you're the pastor's wife. When you're the pastor's wife, pastor's child, when you're the founders of the church's member of family, you're held to a very high esteem than the rest of the people. So when you get into situations where most people wouldn't be bothered with, like maybe you got divorced or something, or maybe you end up getting pregnant before marriage or things like that, people tend to shun you more because they think you should have done better because of who you are and who you're attached to, rather than you as an individual. So I feel maybe Heather got into that relationship because it was expected of her to be married to someone of that stature and caliber, and also someone who is a strict Mormon. So most probably she's still attached to her identity as Mormon and royalty Mormon, and also Mormon who was someone's wife. So she's not gotten out of her image of those identities and tried to figure out what is now my identity as Heather. And I think that's why she's having a tough time figuring out her personal identity. And that is Heather as a girl before she was married, and Heather as a mother, and Heather without religion. I think that's what she's battling with most through this whole thing. That's what I'm getting from her. And she can only be able to figure out herself if she becomes honest with herself and try to have a conversation with someone through therapy or whatever. Then she'll be able to see from the other side of, you're stuck in a portal, in a time portal of these identities that you were given, and not trying to figure out who you are.
True.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that.
I mean, right
Then
now, in terms of who she is, what age is, does anybody know her actual age? I don't remember her age.
I think she's 42 or something like that.
So we have to remember she's been living this life for 42 years, and undoing that, you know, sometimes as people, we have to step, well, I found for myself in certain respects to certain traditions and certain ways of life in terms of my family and how I came up.
Hey
I've had
guys,
to step away.
so sorry
Huh?
to interrupt. Heather is born in 72, so she's 47 or 48.
Okay. So
48.
you have to think she's near enough a century. She's been sorry, not a century.
Don't age me.
Sorry. Nearly half
Half
a
a
century.
century.
She's lived this way. She's been brought up that way. She's has the mentality of, I'm supposed to be the perfect wife. I'm supposed to bear certain children. I'm supposed to play this role. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take a good few years of therapy for her to undo it. Do you get what I mean? That cycle, that programming, and she's going to slip off the track a few times along that journey with somebody that's in her age category.
Yeah.
I see. I can definitely see her needing. I mean, I think someone else said a good therapist was she needs to talk to someone because she's holding on to a lot of an emotional baggage, and I kind of felt that might be her. Just by reading her bio and reading what I could find on Mormon culture and society, stuff like that, and just piecing together some things. I'm like, I hope she doesn't go down this rabbit hole because from what I could gather, she felt a lot of angst and a lot of emotional damage due to her being divorced, kind of like getting kicked out a little bit, and I always felt like she was holding on to something, and that was probably it. So she really needs to talk to someone. And like Dr. Tua said, she's still like in that mode. She doesn't know who Heather is because, as she said, she suppressed a lot of her natural instincts, and when you do that, you have to like find a way to tap into those, and that's your true self. So I feel like she's on this journey to start the second part of her life, and she's just kind of fumbling her way through.
And we have to also remember in regards to the kids, like, because she's not single, it's easier when you're single to be able to work through certain things. She's got the responsibility of 3 daughters, being a role model, trying to hold them down, dealing with their individual needs, helping them through puberty, and trying to find herself so that she can teach them how to move forward the best way possible in the midst of this. Because we have to remember, it's not just her. You heard the daughters. Well, I heard the daughters talk about the fact of, you know, they haven't been to church in how many weeks because of how people are treating them, how people are dealing with them. So she's having to cope with their emotions as well.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? To me, I find it amazing that it seems like her, I think she has all girls. Like, they're so well adjusted. Like, they seem like, I don't know. It's just something about them. They seem not to be bothered. Yeah, like they're a little upset, like how their friends were treating them, but they just seem to just take it on and just are able to move on. And I just find that amazing that they can do that at such a young age, and that's definitely a tribute to how Heather has raised them. So I'm impressed.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
also, you need to remember that the kids are socializing and assimilating with people from different backgrounds when they go to school. So that becomes easier for them to see different perspectives and just outside what they normally deal with at home, at church, and that society. So for Heather, Heather needs to actually pull herself out of that
Mm.
situation, like that society and that environment, to be able to see what the problem really is. But
Right.
as long as she's in that space, she will continue feeling the same way that she's feeling about herself, because she does not see herself
Yeah, I
as
agree with that.
Heather.
But the thing is, though, I'll disagree a slightly. The reason why I do is because we have to remember their society, it's predominantly Mormon. So no, they're not dealing with people of a different background than Mormon. So they're probably getting the same treatment at school as they're getting at church. So therefore, that's why Heather, I feel, has done such a great job, because the kids seem so well adjusted given the environment that they're in.
I think
So,
what Gata was trying, maybe she can respond to this, but in terms of the generational difference, we're looking at Heather. Remember, she's been in there half a century, so there's basically like a 30-year gap between her and her daughter's generation. So it's just like I can empathize because my mom went through similar in regards to the church and what we were dealing with, and she was basically forced into a marriage that she wasn't ready for, and it was because the pastor wanted to be able to keep the church together and keep the community strong. So there was a number of young people that got married over a period of like every week there was like 4 or 5 weddings. Now us later on, 30 years later, my generation of young people are Christians, but we're a different type of Christian because of how we were brought up in the 80s in compared to those that were brought up in the 50s, the 60s. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like when I'm interacting with people who are slightly older than me, they would maybe judge me because maybe I don't go to church every day. But if I'm interacting people my age, some of them will tell you like the last time I was in church was maybe in New Year's or maybe the last year. So I'll feel more comfortable with that group of people. So for someone who's interacting with people who you're either following the rules or you're not, becomes hard for you to see that there's another way of dealing with things other than the set out rules that you have always followed your entire life. And so sometimes it's important when someone gets out of uh, a cult, quote unquote, a cult, you're told to remove yourself from the entire situation, and if possible, move to a different location so that you have nothing reminding you of the situation you were in, so that you see yourself beyond what the situation you were in. And that's why now the kids are able to see themselves that way, because they're interacting with people who do not necessarily hold them into account because of the situation they're in.
but the thing is, I can get that, but what I'm saying is this: the girls were not being treated the same way at their church by their peers.
Yeah.
So it stands to reason that these same peers go to the same school as these girls.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm
I
coming
think
from.
I think you should read Dark Lily's comment, because she's saying that there are a lot of non-Mormons also in Utah. So that's what I'm thinking. Like if you're interacting with non-Mormons, we would care less about
Mm.
what your situation is back at your church.
So
Mm-hmm.
That's what
basically,
I'm
you think
thinking.
there's more of a melting pot than it used to be in Heather's time. There's more differences of opinions with more non-Mormons moving into Utah or in that area. Am I on the right track?
But then
Yes.
also, do you know what it is within, like, I haven't watched it, and I don't know if they're on this in terms of is it Platteville where they've got Mormonism, but the ladies homeschooling them? Am I correct in thinking that? Am I talking
Is
talking about the right program?
Plathville Mormon?
No, I think I thought it was lent more into, was it the fundamentalist area, I thought. That's the way I
Well,
took it.
within
Mm.
the Mormon society, we have to remember there's different types of Mormons. So you still got
Right.
Yeah.
the Heather would have more so come from the Mormons that were homeschooled to a certain extent, and
Okay.
later on maybe have attended high school, or maybe she did attend college because she spoke about it in regards to that fight. But then there's classism in the fact of where she is in a social status. Do you get what I mean? You've got Mormons that
Yeah.
are like cornfields wearing the oh god, what do you call them? The
The
traditional
tabards.
living on, the farms and planting corn and riding the buggies and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then you've got different sects of Mormons. Do you get what I'm saying in terms of the
Yeah.
classism? Some
Right.
people are the traditionalist. The Whitney's generation would be more towards what we'd term as new aged in comparison to what Heather's generation would have come up
Ah,
with.
fundamentalists. Okay, yeah. The really hardcore ones I think are fundamentalists. Thank you, Dark Lily. But I I think that Heather, to her credit, is allowing her children to explore a bit more than she was allowed to. Because when I saw the boyfriend come over, I think it was last episode, I don't
Yep.
think he's Mormon. And she made a comment. She said, I've allowed my daughter to date him for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
In what the Mormons expect, like if you see somebody more than once, then you're married. And she's giving her kids that opportunity to be like us, like normal teenagers, and she's establishing trust and communication between them because she can talk to them, about sex, about feelings for the guy, what we take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone who's so stuck in Mormonism,
Mm-hmm.
and who has so much guilt about her actions, both in the past and now, I think she's doing an incredible job of making sure that her kids experience life in a way that she couldn't at their age.
Yeah,
Like
she's
she's done
doing
an
a good.
amazing job.
I
And
agree.
it's
I
probably
agree
not
she's
an
doing.
easy thing. Sorry, Gatawa. It's probably not an easy thing for her who had never had that, trying to teach her daughters how to
Mhm.
have that and learn herself how to have that at the same time. And sometimes it's a strange thing as a parent, because sometimes because of how like I'm finding it with my daughter's generation, there's certain things I wasn't able to experience. I'm trying to do the same thing with her in terms of
Mhm.
Christianity and her belief in church and the Bible and things, allowing her to explore and research for herself, for her to develop her own beliefs, but also give her the space to be able to come to me and ask those questions and be an open, an open vessel, open ear to what her needs are. But sometimes in the freedom that our children have, it gives us more, it teaches us too. We're not just, it's not only us as parents that are teaching the children are also teaching us as the next generation how to be more open, how to live more freer. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if what I'm saying making
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. I Go ahead, Gatatua.
I am agreeing with Paul. It makes sense, and it also sometimes because of that trying to stretch the boundaries of a religion, you come to realize there was actually previously openings for you to stretch those boundaries to begin with. And I would say a good example is when you look at the Catholic Church. The current pope has tried to stretch the boundaries of the religion and trying to accept things that are actually becoming norm, which most necessarily not everyone has accepted to be a norm. And by the fact that he's stretching those boundaries, people are slowly coming to realize actually these things are in the society. We've only just been ignoring them or trying to look at them as taboo, but they're there. So we need to become more accommodative of them. And because of that, now you influence even how countries reason, and when they're coming up with legislation and whatnot, how they reason. Because in my country, it is actually still a crime to have same-sex relations, and you can get a jail term. But because of what the Catholic Church is saying, so someone can come up and say, we need to challenge this and see how we can go about it. So it's the same as when you go to the Mormon society, because here we have the Latter-day Saints. If you look at how they carry out their days, and if you try to question a few of their practices, the younger people take up to try and do research to see whether you can stretch those boundaries. But then the older people are like, no, there's no other way. There's only one way of dealing with something, which becomes now the problem. So you have two polar opposites in the same church. So you find people move from the church, from that strict religion, and form another sort of religion next to it that mirrors the other one, but only takes a few things here and there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I've seen it across different religions, different, you know, faiths in regards to what Gatu was talking about, offshoots. That, you know, just in terms of Christianity, you got Catholicism, Pentecostal, Baptist. These are the ways that these things have happened over the years, how the offshoots have grown because of old, you know, older generation to newer generation thinking coming through, or different ideals, different principles. Here in United Kingdom, we've got different offshoots because the king didn't want to follow certain ones, so he set up his own church in England.
Anglican church. I was thinking that as well. You know, that's the biggest example for me, and it's the only one I'm familiar with because that's my family's religion. But you know, there was a lot in this episode, and I know
Could we talk about Jen for a second?
Oh yeah.
Now, for me, Jen seems like those people who do not know how to let go of a situation, especially when they sit and analyze how they could have handled the situation, and they realize, maybe I still have a few more things I wanted to say, but I did not have an opportunity to say. So maybe I can bring this thing up again and say it. Then when she's not able to deliver again, she goes and sits and stews and plots how next she's going to deal with it. But if you actually give her an opportunity to tackle the problem head on, she will not, because she hasn't thought through exactly what is that was making her feel some type of way. However, for you who's looking at her, you can tell her the problem was this, and this is how I think you would have solved it. But I don't think I think we're going to hear about this, her hate for, what's her name, Mary, some more. And I think we're going to hear the same situation over and over, and she's going to tell us how she's a nice person and she loves everyone over and over and over again. I don't think it's going to stop.
Yeah, I think Jen has established herself as a one-trick pony and very immature and lacks basic communication skills, which I find quite interesting since she claims to own 3 marketing companies where you need to know how to communicate. I don't expect much more from her than what she has shown us so far. And that's why I'm tired of her.
Jen is annoying to me, but I find it interesting that in regards to, is it Heather that has is it £40 million business, or that she's doing like the Botox and the facial stuff and things like that?
Heather's the one with the Botox spa.
Yeah. So Jen goes to her on a regular basis for different treatments. But if you listen to the conversation, Jen is the one that's telling Heather about all the new different things that are coming out and the things where she's traveled and tested things, and Heather takes her advice from that. So in certain respects to certain areas, she does have some skill. What level of skill in different areas is questionable. Like in regards to when I asked Jamal in the comments about the business, he sent me the link and I actually went on her page. It's showing coming soon. So I think this is the thing when you have certain classes of women that are in a financial position, you can either choose to go for it in terms of having certain types of businesses like Heather has, even though she's got an ex that's paying for her to be at home and look after the girls and do all that. Do you get what I mean? Whereas it seems like Jen has more so had that kind of football wives lifestyle, glitz and glamour a bit more. And because she's got the sons, it might be now that she's got time to be able to put a grip on a business and do something with it. Do you get what I'm saying? So it'll be she is annoying as hell. She is. She irks my spirit.
And I also think with her telling Heather about treatments that are coming out, I can Google and I can come to your shop and tell you, oh, so I've seen that this and this treatment, but I've never encountered it. But I have just only Googled about the treatment, but I do not know what are the side effects of the treatment. So I think just Heather taking up the idea and running away with it is shady, especially for someone who still has a coming up soon. Yet I think this was done last year, so by now it should have already arrived. I'm thinking.
Well,
Have business.
I mean, we have to remember at the same time, Jen goes and she uses these procedures. She's been to other clinics. She's test-driven things. You could see that, she's had a load of stuff done to her face. So I don't think she would necessarily come back and purposely give Heather the wrong advice, especially when I heard her say some comment about fat freezing and she tested this in another place and how good it was. Do you get what I mean? How much advice Heather
I understand you. Yeah.
is up to her as a businesswoman. But it's just like, I've got interest in fashion. Doesn't mean I'm going to go out and create a whole this, that, and the other, or, in comparative to what I'm interested in. But it seems like to me, maybe she hasn't, people don't like, there's some wives that come from some circumstances where it's just like the husband's giving you some money, there's money there, and they've created a business and it's something for them to play around with and, like a hobby more so. But
yes,
I would have thought within the fact of now you're on Bravo, or maybe now with that she's got the show, because it says August 17th was the first time she'd posted for the coming soon and all that maybe she's going to utilize the show. But it would have been better suited with everybody else doing product placement in this episode for her to really showcase herself as well. So she's missed a valid opportunity if she's really going to go after the business acumen.
But the beauty of having a marketing firm or a marketing agency is if you have accounts with different brands or products or companies, you really don't have to do much. You really don't have to go out there and get new business, especially if you have repeating customers. So every year my account is, I have an account with Queen, I have an account with Debbie, and I have an account with Jamal. So I know every year I'll make maybe $1 million from these 3 companies, and $1 million is enough for me. I don't need to do anything else, especially if you're taking the lazy approach to your business.
Jamal.
Yes.
In regards to Jen's business, can you find any more in terms of when the business was started or anything like that, or any of the other businesses?
I looked for all the other businesses. This is the only one that popped up. And I couldn't find anything about
fashion. JXA Fashion, Shaw Beauty, and the Real Shaw Lashes. I found something on those.
Okay, not that I'm being shady or anything.
Hey ladies, sorry, real quick. I have to jump off and get back to work, so I'm going to leave it to you guys to close it out, and I will see you tomorrow.
All right, see you. Bye,
Jamal.
Bye.
I was saying, not that I'm trying to be shady or anything, but all those things sound like, like when you open Instagram online shops and online products, because I'm trying to look at all. Sorry to use this word. I'm trying to look at all socialites and influencers on Instagram. They're either selling lashes, or they're selling cosmetics, or makeup products, or they're selling some fashion. And the fashion was probably something they got either from Fashion Nova, and then they customize it a bit, and then they sell it back to you, or something that will go and buy in bulk in Thailand or Turkey or China. So that sounds to me more
Mm-mm.
like you're just having some fun on Instagram and not necessarily running a $1 million company.
I can agree with
She
you.
probably
It
is.
almost
It
sounds
wouldn't
like
surprise
drop
me. She
shipping.
probably, you know what I mean? Everybody, yeah, a lot of people do
Yeah,
that. A lot of people do that on Instagram. Do you get what I mean? So it wouldn't surprise me if
yeah.
she's got, you know what I mean, in terms of her circle of family and friends. There's a lot of young people that do it, so it wouldn't surprise me if she did it also. I did want to say, in regards to her, I've noticed something with her and Mary. Now, I don't know whether it's a case of something that's happened in her past that's triggering her in regards to Mary, certain things that Mary's character brings out, but also just like in Real Housewives of Atlanta, with Nene and Kenya, they have similarities in their personality which cause conflict. I feel like they're similar with Mary and Jen because of what they're arguing about, the way they're arguing about. Jen seems to be able to have compassion towards the people that she works with and the people that are around her. Mary seems to have compassion towards her following in her church, but they both don't seem able to translate it when it comes to friendships.
I don't think Mary has compassion for anyone. I, I feel she has no compassion whatsoever, especially for the
Hello?
people she's in
Anybody there?
touch with. Can you hear me?
Can you hear
Hello?
us?
Can you hear
Queen,
us?
we
Sister
we
B
can
there?
We
hear
can
you.
hear you.
We
We
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, I can hear you now. Sorry. Carry
All
on.
right. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Dr. Sura.
I was saying I don't think I don't think Mary has compassion for anyone apart from herself. I don't think she even has compassion for her congregation and stuff. And what showed me she has no compassion for anyone was when she was talking about the lady who's supposed to be like a great aunt or something. Now, you have I don't know whether you have such people in your family who go look for like a second cousin or a third cousin, like a distant cousin, and then they give them domestic work or some work, and then they keep telling you how we're related with this person and I've been with them for this number of years, but you can see from the interaction with this individual does not seem like this person is family or even close to it. In fact, you'd think it's a stranger she picked from the streets and brought into her house. That's why I feel she does not have compassion for someone, and she can only feel like she needs to have compassion for someone if she feels you're on the same level with her, but
So
not
maybe the right word for it that I should say selective compassion, selective classism compassion.
See, that's the thing. I don't even get compassion from Mary. I don't get empathy. I don't get emotion from her. There's just something not clicking together with Mary for me.
I was telling someone yesterday, and I was saying I feel maybe she has either she has something wrong with her or she has her personality off. And I don't want to label her and I don't want to give her titles or disorders because I'm not a doctor and I wouldn't want to label her, but I feel maybe she needs to get analyzed. And you might find because her emotions are a bit off. When you feel like someone would hold their tongue when they're talking about something, she just lets it out and she has no emotion attached to that. And there is a personality disorder attached to that when someone has no emotion or doesn't seem to socialize with anyone properly, like has no proper socialization skills, and they also have some sort of a grandiose nature in them, like they believe they're better than everyone and they're above everyone and they're literally a god or a god's gift to everyone. So I feel maybe there's something off with her in terms of that. Like I think she
Oh,
might have that, but I don't want to say she has that.
oh, there's something definitely up with her. If from what I've been reading online with the whole fact that it's really and truly allegedly a cult and all the stuff in regards to the companies that her family and companies hold in regards to doing mortgages allegedly for the patrons of the church and people allegedly having their homes taken away, then it shows, and you can feel, well, to me, I feel that there's a coldness and there's a lot of acting to how she behaves because of how she treated Whitney's father when he came to the church. I believe part of that was an act. Do you get what I mean? At the same time, you know, she comes from that kind of, you know, we have to remember, look at Pastor Holyhall, the situation with Jamal Bryant and Giselle and other people. The lady of the church, when you're the pastor of the church, you're supposed to put on airs and graces and assimilate to a better standard and a higher level than other people. Hey, Abalavi.
Hi.
Hey.
I just want just to call in for one reason.
Oh dear.
You know what? The nastiest house goes to Meredith. That thing,
Meredith.
the dog poop, was just too nasty for my liking. And I mean, it just kept poo-pooing. It kept poo-pooing all over the white carpet. That's a rental. You're never going to get your deposit back. It was so nasty. And then you see Brooks. You know what? I really feel like Meredith, warning, is nasty. I'm sorry. She's one person who she couldn't cook a potluck for me because look how she shows her house. I don't know if the dog is pooping on her stove. She just letting the dog do whatever it wants. It's all over the white furniture. I'm sure you see poop remnants all over the furniture as well.
So you don't want to run a black light through that house?
No. And then the carpet. See, this is why I don't like carpet. Did you see how when the toilet overflowed and how the carpet got... I would never go back in that house. Oh, the smell. I could just smell it. It smells like the pool when we were in high school and when the teenage boys came and it was musty. And then it was a little warm. Oh. You know, it was just...
We can't pretend that. You know?
And then...
within each class, you know, you've got people that are you know, clean, dirty, the in between. The difference is they're rich enough within their class to be able to afford a housekeeper.
Let's talk about her hair now.
I have a question for you, Ablavi. Why do you think when the toilet exploded and everything and overflooded, then the smoke detector went off? What do you think was the problem? Because I didn't get the correlation between the two.
Because it's either the smoke detector or it's the O2. It's probably the O2. So they probably have the gas on and it's like burning, so it's coming up, and that's what it was. But, you know, even that was ridiculous. And then let's get on her hair. Will she take a shower? Her hair always looks greasy. Did you see when they were doing the extensions? Go back and pause it, because I went to pause it. There is so much grease on her root. That's why her clip-ins couldn't catch all the way at the root. I mean, and then the clip-ons were like a reddish color. And I was like, where do you be getting these clip-ons from? It was just disastrous. And then when her hair was slicked back, you saw all the oil from the last week. If you're not going to shower and wash that hair, then honey, get some dry shampoo, because you looked filthy this episode.
Question: is that the same lady that was on about saying to the husband, was it last week, about she deserves gifts for just being her? Is that the same lady?
Yeah,
it is.
Well, wait.
No, it's the one where
Oh, no, not the interchangeable one. The one with the gay sub.
Right.
Oh, okay.
The one that's designing tracksuits.
Okay.
You know, she just needs a good
joggers.
Joggers.
Just a good, and then we have to go to Mary. Now we really have to get on Mary. Mary needs to go to Bed Bath & Beyond and pick her up some storage containers, some things for the shoe container. You could even do it on Amazon since you like delivering things to your house. I mean, that looked like, no shade to art teachers, but in school, y'all used to have the messiest of rooms. Things just used to be all over the place with all the paint and stuff. I mean, I was looking at her thing and it was just like an explorer's room. It was just, shoes was everywhere. Nothing was in boxes. It was just all out. And then you have a camera going into your house. Are you crazy? You know nobody cleans that house either. That's another person who I can't eat their food because I would be scared to get a bacterial disease because of how nasty she keeps her house.
Oh my God.
And then we go to Lisa. Lisa, though, is my type of... Oh, I'm sorry. Before Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm getting really tired of? Everybody keeps saying Whitney is so mature. Whitney is sitting there being a full white girl wasted, 18 years old on spring break at Cancun in the middle of nowhere where it's freezing. I get tired of her with the stripping and the drinking and then taking shots off the body. Don't nobody want that old man to touch them. Oh, he just looks like the Grim Reaper.
Best life, she's living her best life. You know, she's doing half of that. She's doing half of that because of how she got her husband in the first place. And she's intent on keeping him. So she's going to do what it takes to make sure that she keeps his attention. Part of it is. And then because of the fact that they're excommunicated and he's making money, she could do what she wants. That's probably what attracted him to her in the first place. And he's probably in his 50s or something. So he might be going through a midlife crisis and wants some young thing. Do you get what I'm saying, Ms. Debbie?
She needs to do with hairstyles. She needs to go and sing a Aaliyah song and start to get a swoop bang. Sorry, girl, I'm from the big forehead gang too. We cannot wear middle parts like that.
The big five.
Do that. Honey, get you a swoop bang like Aaliyah, put it all to the side, get you a little fringe or something. And that cut is not doing you any good either. I don't like it. It needs to be a little bit longer and get yourself together. Then we got to go on to Jen. I want to congratulate Jen. That is the best you've ever looked on this show. And next season, that's how I want you to start the season. There was one scene where it wasn't looking like she was a blow-up doll. She looked incredible for her. I mean,
was that when she was roller skating or in the hot tub?
No, okay, let's talk about the hot tub. No, she don't need a warning.
Debbie, you did it.
Little booty crew, right? It's okay to have a little booty. That was not the bathing suit. I was looking at her butt. Her face may look 25, but her butt looks 62. I was like,
she was very straight. I was surprised that she didn't have more curve.
Well, no, she bought those boobs.
I mean in the lower part. Like I was expecting her to have some hips or something. She's very straight.
No, I think Debbie, you could even tell from her picture. She's straight. Like if you were to run your hands through her, you would literally just go straight like a ruler.
Yeah, but when she's fully clothed, at least you have some hope. But when you saw like ass out, like how she was, and all the bottom of the cheek was jiggling like jello, like it a little bit too much.
And
maybe her husband likes it that way. Maybe he
never home. She's lonely.
Some men like boobs, some men like butts, some men like legs. Maybe he's a breast man. That might be why she got her.
You saw the butt. It was the butt, and then it was 3. I don't even want to say that. I think it was just sagging skin. It's like, Mama, you see all that in your face. Go ahead and get your legs done.
When do you see her exercise?
She does
roller skating.
Yeah, she was roller skating. And then we have to get to what's her name? Heather. You know what? I thought I was gonna drag Heather, but I didn't. Because I ain't mad at Heather. You know what Heather really wanted to say? And I don't care how y'all take this. She said, yeah, I'll sleep with a black guy, but I sure ain't gonna give him my money. That's what she meant when she said she don't want a relationship. She said, yeah, I'm gonna pay for a man for a little while like Candy Burris, but I ain't gonna keep him.
Well, if Heather's got sense, and it sounds like she does, in terms of the fact that probably the caliber of man that she'd probably want in the Black community may not be available in her vicinity. And then on top of it, because she's divorced, she's probably got a settlement coming from the husband. Not that I don't want to count people's money, but she's got a very successful business at the same time. Her husband's giving her a certain amount to be at home. If she was to go and get married and be in another situation, that money would stop. Certain parts of that money would stop. So from
but
certain
did you see how
aspects of
she
classism,
went on her cougar hunt and she went
Mhm.
ah and grabbed him.
Yeah.
I'd say she just needs to find herself a Ben 10 to her specification and just chill. She doesn't need all that.
I don't feel that way with Heather. I feel like she'll play and get the college girl out,
Get an
try-
STD or two. Yeah.
try a whole bunch of men, and then she'll be right back with a Mormon man who's rich. Something about Heather don't seem right to me, because if she really didn't want to be in that religion, she would leave.
But she did say that
as
she
simple as
regrets
that,
not
Bobby, she's been in that religion
exploring.
for near enough half a century. That's a long time.
Could you repeat
But
that,
that's
please? Sorry, I didn't catch that. I think Queen is frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Gatatua.
I was saying, like, you see, you're forgetting there's something. I feel there is some sort of social standing she gets from still identifying as Mormon. And that's why she doesn't want to get out of that situation, despite the fact that she's making it seem like it's so bad and she's suffering. I think there's some social standing that she's getting from being Mormon, and especially in that society.
But you know what I'm here for? I'm here for Jen and the foolishness she's about to start. Because she's about to say that Meredith is cheating on her husband with another man and saying, if you don't get it. And then I'm sure Meredith is going to turn around and say, well, what were you doing with your husband? I already see the plot. I'm hoping they can bring it together.
No.
I hope so too, because I felt that vibe, but then I don't know if Jen is that messy though. But
Yes,
I felt like she can. No, because I'm saying she can be messy, but she kind of has like a lot of take backs. You get what I mean? She doesn't stick to her mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're back, Queen. What did you say?
Oh, sorry, internet issues. What I was saying before is she's been in that religion for, you have to remember, Abalavi, nearly half a century. That's longer than you've been on this planet.
That is
so
true.
In terms of, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unlearning that behavior, and it's fighting against your natural instincts and what's been essentially brainwashed into you, taught to you for how many years. It's going to take some time. And at the same time, she's trying to teach. She understands the gap that it's kind of, I don't think she fully understands, but to a certain extent, because she didn't have those experiences, and she's nearly 50 years old trying to search and find herself. She doesn't want her daughters to go through the same thing. She wants them to have the opportunity. So I think she just needs some time.
But she better get through to her daughter, because she might be a teen mom the way that daughter was all up on her boyfriend.
Well,
that girl was a little too fresh to me. She's like, we only kissed. No, you've been doing more than that. But okay. It's because you can't get
say
pregnant.
that Heather doesn't have her on the shot?
Huh?
Who's to say Heather doesn't have her on the shot? Heather knows her own inner cravings, and I'm sure that I don't think
she would put her on the shot because she's still young.
She's what, 15?
Yeah.
She got on a shot. She been with the boy for 2 years.
Usually around
go ahead, Quinn.
But in regards to here, I know that when it comes to a certain age, there's that kind of talk in terms of 13 upwards. Girls are usually getting PVC vaccination jabs and other things in terms of doctors sometimes, or GPs recommending, girls be on the pill or the jab. So it would make sense that hopefully she would have the conversation
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do a round robin of final thoughts. Gatatua, you get to go first.
I'm not gonna lie, I have not watched this episode. I think I watched this episode just to see Sundance because that's one thing I want to do. I'm not going to lie that I have been catching up the series just after. I think I catch snippets of things, but the moment something good happens, please let me know because it hasn't happened yet. For Jen, she needs to. Yeah, I agree with Ablavi. She needs to stay the way she was. She looked good, but she needs to also sort out her below the face, actually below the boobies situation, because it looked like two separate people, as I keep saying. It looks like grandma downstairs and then young cute thing upstairs. So she needs to sort that out. I don't know whether she's going to work out or like get some injections, like the cool sculpting thing, because those ones help. I don't know, because she seems to be knowledgeable about these things, and I know she knows those things, so she can do that. For what's her name? Heather. Heather just needs to scratch her itch, and then maybe she needs to scratch a bunch of itches, and maybe she's gonna get to the point of realization of what she really wants. She might need to have that, that Ben 10 on standby to just scratch the itch and then move forward. But we'll see. For this other ladies, I felt like, okay, I was there to see the whole Sundance experience, but I kept seeing joggers. Then I saw uh, the vodka and tequila, and then I'm sorry, I dozed off. I forced myself to doze off because of that. But I'm hoping something happens. I'm hoping some drama happens. I'm hoping the cheating scandal comes because I'm ready for another one. I don't know. I'm hoping something happens. That's what I'm hoping for.
Cool. So we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. I can't remember what we're doing tomorrow, but just show up because I'm sure that we'll have a nice little conversation once Jamal goes back to work.
Definitely.
Thanks, Gatatua. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Gatatua.
Miss Queen, final thoughts.
I'm just interested to see what's going to continue to happen because obviously we're in the first season, and I can see a lot of the things that everybody's talking about in terms of people's homes and certain types of things. But like we said, this is the first season, so most likely they'll look back and look at where they've gone wrong or the things that they've done wrong and hopefully learn from it, and we'll see what happens. I'm interested to see what is it Brooks, the young guy that was with the joggers and all that. I'm interested to see what he's gonna do because we're in an age now where we need to be teaching our children about businesses, and if he's in a financial position where his parents can help get him off the ground, it'll be interesting to see for his generation how he can utilize that and how he moves forward. I think what's her name needs to get him a bit under control in terms of, I know he thinks he's the man of the house because his father's not there, but I'm interested to see how the relationships are going to develop between each of the families.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what he develops as well because he still is a bit young. I don't think he's taking it that seriously. But it's a great opportunity. Don't blow it. I agree with you. Yeah. So are you going to come back tomorrow?
I'm not sure what's happening tomorrow, but I'll try and pop in. I'll try and look on, see what's going on. But I've enjoyed tonight.
We're going to talk about Vancouver and probably something else that if there's a hot topic that comes up. I'm sure, you know what? Things are going off so awfully between Pastor Brian and Giselle, the Samuels. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about that tomorrow.
I look forward to it. Okay,
right,
good night, everybody. Good night, everybody in the chat. Bye, Abalavi. Bye, Debbie.
Bye.
So,
Abalavi.
I'm hoping to see you on Shan's channel whenever she does it with the dating, because I want to hear some of your dating stories, because you never did it on this channel.
I know. We were waiting for Shan to come back. We wanted that to happen, but it didn't. But if she does it on her channel, I wouldn't mind popping over.
Okay. But real quick, Salt Lake City, I feel like right now, it's good that they failed in their first season because now they can really stop pretending like they're all debutantes and they're all fabulous and really start to get like, this is not how we do it. Let's get interesting. Let's go back a few. Let's get a little bit more people. They have to give us another black girl and fire Mary. I'm sorry, they just do. They have to, one of the interchangeables have to go. We don't need Lisa and Meredith. They don't bring enough. Unless Meredith wants to bring her sideman on and turn it out for us.
I don't think she's brave enough to do that, but it would be bloody interesting.
And then have her husband there. I mean, I'm here for it. You know what I've always wanted to see, but this is because I'm petty. I've always wanted one of the housewives to sleep with another housewife's husband and then have it on the show.
Well, give Brandy Glanville enough and she just might do it.
Well, not Brandy, but I've always wanted to see like there was a rumor. Oh, she slept, like, you remember how Peggy and Jesus Jugs, they had that thing with Jim because she slept with Jim way back in the day.
Yeah, but that was before Jesus Jug was married to Jim, right? Like they were like boyfriend and girlfriend or something like that.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I want to see somebody that, like, say you just got married, right? Or you have like a checkered past, or he's like still sleeping with his ex-wife. I need to see a little bit more Days of Our Lives because they have the people writing for them, and a little less, MTV.
Let's talk to the producers about that because they're the ones ultimately who are driving this ship.
Yeah, I just think that Salt Lake, like, first of all, I don't think they realize how depressing it is to see snow every week. Like, that is not fun.
You know what? Well, maybe it's because I've been out of the snow for so long.
Yeah.
But like off in a mountain somewhere, and it's like 5 seconds, and then we're back in somebody's nice shop, or we're at a cafe or something like that. I can handle that snow.
And then 2, we need to see nicer houses. And this is what I mean by nicer houses. I want to see a house that's 10 to 15,000 square feet. I want to see an indoor golf thing. I want to see an indoor gym. I want to see an elevator. I want to see a wine cellar. I want to see a game room downstairs that's like an arcade. I want to see a walk-in closet. I want to see a chef's kitchen. I want to see opulence. I am tired of the suburban housewives group. I don't want to see a cul-de-sac. I want to see how they live. I want to see somebody with $10 million house in the mountains. I don't want to see 1.5.
You know what? I agree with you. Because in all of these years, I've never seen like a his and hers bathroom with the connecting shower where they can meet in the middle with his and her closet.
The only one who had a nice house was Heather Dubrow. That was the only one that was like a 10 million and up.
And one of Lisa Vanderpump's homes, I think it was the one that burnt down.
Yeah, Lisa had it. But I want to see, even in New York, I want to see better. You know what I want to see in New York? I want to see somebody convert their downstairs into a swimming pool. I want to see opulence. Like for their townhouse, I want their basement to be a swimming pool. I want to see a spa in your house. I want to see luxury gardens. I want to see the girls do it. I'm tired of basic suburban housewife who bought her little cul-de-sac a few years ago and now it's appreciated. I want to see, because I went online on Utah, because I went on Zillow to see, how they live. I saw some fabulous houses. I saw a house that had its indoor basketball court, and then it had a top floor that you could look down and have spectators in the house. I saw a huge movie theater. I saw a house that had collectible cars, and the house was only like $10 million, which is not bad because we're dealing with rich people. I want to see the 0.01, not, 0.20. I don't want to see that.
See, I agree with you too, but I just get the feeling that those like one percenters don't even want to be on a show like this. Like they consider this tacky or something. And we just want to be nosy.
Well, then it's time to rent, you know?
But yeah, and because that's what the OC is doing. All of them girls out there are renting.
And they're not even nice. Those houses they're renting.
I know. Well, I do like, what's your name? The drunken girl. I like her kitchen.
No, but that's even Orange County. Like, come on, spend $100,000 a month on rent. Show the girls something.
$100,000 on rent for the year?
For a month.
For a month?
I need to see luxury. Yeah.
Then they gotta go up to Newport. They gotta go up to Newport. Over there where Kobe them live and where Heather lives. And I wish we could get Heather back.
We see Heather but even this group, right? These houses, I'd be surprised if this is more than $5,000 a month with the rentals.
No, what's her name? Shannon's is 11.
Not on OC, on Salt Lake, because
on Salt Lake?
Meredith rents.
But here's the thing, during their peak season, those houses are going to be really expensive. During the off season, so if they're doing a year rental, it's going to be somewhere in between.
But didn't Bravo rent Portia's house when Cordell threw her out, and didn't she get like a $20,000 a month house? So $20,000 from Bravo. You sell your flat tummy tees, that's another $20,000, and then.
I'm sure that they can work a deal with Bravo, or if they can't, write it off in their taxes. Once a camera crew steps into that house, it's a business expense, and you can write it off for the year.
But you could also do what Dorit did. I'm sure there are developers that want to sell these very expensive houses and will have no problem these girls having the house on television. Like, they need to do better.
Or even do what what's her name did from Dorinda.
Yeah.
Dorinda left her apartment that is hers, started remodeling it, and cut a deal with an apartment up the road and lived there for free as long as the cameras would come in and film.
Yeah, but that's what they need to do. Because I need to see money in this next season. Because this is probably one of the most basic houses of all Housewives. I mean, even Tarita Giudice, although they, robbed and stealed for their money, they had a fabulous house,
Yeah.
The Jersey girls have fabulous houses, 10,000 square feet. There's a pool in the back. Even Kathy, her new house was fabulous. Like, I don't like their houses. Everybody's house is too plain for how people are flexing like they make money.
But look at the difference. Look at the difference in residences. Okay, so Dorinda's apartment from her last season, the one that she cut the deal for, rents for $10,000 a month, right? And look at Shannon's house in the OC that rents for $11,000 a month. Apartment, house. Look at what you get for the money in the different locations. Like, I thought that was crazy.
But the worst houses should be New York. Nobody's houses should look worse than New York. And New York houses don't look bad for New York. Because New York, let me tell you, there's some dives over here. Nobody's house looks that bad. So everybody else's should be a leg up. If Shannon's spending $10,000, didn't y'all say her father is rich? Let him put another $10,000, get her a nicer house. Take some of that money. I'm sure she's gotten her trust fund by now in her 50s.
Let's hope so.
She needs to have a nice house. And even Kelly, that man she's with, he got a ton of money from Fox. Spend that money and show us the life. To me, their houses have never looked on par with, when you think of a housewife, the only one that's sort of there is Beverly Hills. And I say sort of because I'm going to be honest with you. Besides Lisa Vanderpump, I thought everybody else was, I'm not like, I don't care about Encino.
Sutton's house. I wish we could have seen, like, on Instagram, like her old house before she moved, that was really nice. And now that she's moved, it's even better. Sutton has a really great house, but because of the issue with her husband not allowing the kids to film, I don't think we can get in to see the house.
Well,
I'm hoping things change this season.
If Bravo needs help, me and Debbie can go on Zillow and we can find you some houses we want to see for you to rent. And because they're gonna have to spend, if they're spending $10,000, they're gonna have to spend like $50 in order for me to be satisfied with these houses.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We can elevate their house, or rather Bravo can elevate their houses. But if it's the same dumb fuck Shannon with her crying every season over a boyfriend, over a kid, over an ex-husband, over the ex-husband's girlfriend being pregnant, like,
well, Shannon, but
the house can only take you so far.
OC really messed the ball and didn't make it diverse enough. I thought they needed somebody who was like of Persian descent, and I thought they always needed somebody who was like some sort of Asian, and somebody who was a bit flashy. So more so like a Gigi, like, you know how she's very flashy and very like, you know, you needed somebody who was a socialite and doesn't really want to work, like fun employed, like the rich kids of Beverly Hills. Maybe get one of those kids and get somebody, because there are people, there are the Paris Hiltons of the world. They want to be on television. They want to be shown, and they have the money. You just need to get them there and not deal with the hags of the OC.
What do you think about that girl? Did you ever watch Shaws of Sunset? The girl that did the lashes?
Lily?
Lily. Would you like her on OC?
No, and here's why. Lily wasn't interesting because Lily didn't really do well with confrontation.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
I think a better choice would be MJ, because MJ really fits with them a lot. Like, I know you don't like MJ, but MJ would be somebody who is at least confrontational in the group, because I think Gigi would take a knife to somebody's throat. So we don't need that.
That's true. That's true. But she might have calmed down a little bit now that she had the baby.
I just think they need somebody else. You know, they need somebody who is, you know, a little bit more, you know, a little bit more flashy, a little bit, like I said, I loved it. The reason why I watched Atlanta was because Kim was spending cash for a Cadillac. That's what I'd like to see. Yes, spend the money. I'd like to see Teresa put on $1 million necklace and actually acting like she was going to buy it. I like to see them. I want you to answer this, because I was talking to my friend about this. When is the last time you've seen them go into a store and buy something expensive?
The Rome trip, Beverly Hills. Remember? But it was a small shopping trip when you think about doing shopping trips.
Yeah.
Like, you only going and dropping 12 grand and coming out with like 2 bags. Like,
because I have friends that spend more money than that. And granted, they probably in the high sixes. I have a friend who went to Italy and bought a Ferrari. So like, that's what I like to see. I don't like to see this bum simple lifestyle. Like, if you want to go, spend the money. I want you to have wine. I want you to have liquor. I want you to do crazy things like put gold in front of your house because you got it.
Yeah. Now that you're saying this, it is a bit disappointing. But hopefully we'll get back to that again. I just think a lot of these franchises either need to be A, terminated, or B, completely revamped. Now, I'm not a Dallas fan, a Housewives of Dallas, but it's coming back on January, the beginning of January, first week of January. I'm going to take a peek because they got a new character coming on. And I think some of the opulence that we missed from some of the other housewives is on Dallas, but I didn't like most of the personalities on that show, and that's why I didn't watch it. So I'm gonna give it another try.
You know what? Dallas was disappointing to me because Dallas comes from old money, and I'm not seeing the type of houses I want to see. I want to see ranches. I want to see estates. I want to see what is equivalent to a plantation. I want to see land for days. I want to see houses for generations. I want to see big oil because Deandra's okay. This is the thing about Deandra. Is that her father? Because I looked at his obituary and it said his stepdaughter and his wife.
I have no idea. I stopped watching.
Because her father left her billions of dollars. He was a billionaire.
But her mother pulls her strings. So I'm feeling like the mom is controlling that money.
In order for her mother to control it, I'm asking, is that his child?
I have no idea. I don't want to talk out of turn, but what if he left the money in installments, like how Elvis Presley did? You get a piece at 18, you get a piece at 25, you get a piece at 30. You know what I mean?
I guess. I mean, I just think that she doesn't have any children, correct? Or at least no children. Like, you know nothing about her, and she's on the Housewife, and she's boring. Leanne was boring. I don't want to see, rinky dink. I don't want to see somebody at my level doing it. I want to see one of the girls do it. I want to see somebody who's going to go in Dallas, especially, and buy a horse. Like, they don't even buy horses.
I want to see this season, the new girl make all of them eat chicken feet.
But she doesn't seem luxurious to me either. I want to see money. And if I'm going to see somebody Chinese or whatever for East Asian she is, I want to see one of the girls, I want to see somebody like Crazy Rich Asians. I want to see, the Hung Dynasty. We've been rich for 100 years. We own the bank in here. We do this. Honey, I get diamonds sent to me because it's a Tuesday. Yes. And no, Cardi B is not having that lifestyle. Cardi B is renting her lifestyle, and she's gassing y'all head up because she got a 365 deal, and that's why her label owns everything that she makes. That's what we call poverty at 40, Cardi B. I want to see one of the girls.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. Well, I hope what you said is true, that more tidbits are getting ready to drop on Salt Lake City, so that I won't be so aggravated.
So that should be good.
I have a feeling that that's going to let me down because everybody is so excited about it, and I have a feeling like she's not even going to physically assault Kyle, because that's what I want.
No, I'm talking about like money.
But are we ever going to get inside her house?
We have gone inside her house because she had, I want to be a Hilton. So, honey, I've seen that house. I've gone to California Registry and saw all the planning about that. I need them to have Tori Spelling. You know what else they should have? I got it.
What?
They should have a Russian woman who is very wealthy on New York. Because there's plenty of wealthy Russian women there. I mean, I used to walk dogs for this woman who was wealthy. I mean, her mansion was beautiful. It was probably like 85 million. Gorgeous. Now, I don't know what she did, but she had it gorgeous. She had like, what was it? Everything in her house was like Van Gogh, and this is Picasso, and this is a piece from Andy Warhol, and this is when I went to Studio 54 in this, there are people like that in New York who are lonely, and you just have to say, hey, your kids don't come around. What if you're on reality television? You just got to know how to finesse it and be in those. Because we could have great shows, and Salt Lake City can be great because they're a different type of millionaire, They live in the snow. Everything really is in their house. I wanted to see it.
You think that the girls on Salt Lake City are millionaires? With every show that I watch, I'm beginning to doubt that.
I think they're millionaires in net worth. I don't think they're millionaires in cash.
And net worth can be manipulated.
Well, it can be, but like for instance, if your company is valued at 60 million, but the worth that you have in your company is like 0.04%, then you're not,
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is, because I don't think Heather's place is worth even if it's worth $40 million. You aren't, sweetie. Look at how you go out in this world.
Were you at least happy that she found a piece of peen?
No, because you know how I feel about broke men. I don't believe after age 22 you should be sleeping with broke men. You just leave them on the side of the road.
But even if he's just a diversion?
No, because I mean, what's she gonna do? Take him to her house with her children live?
No, you never take him to the house. You go to the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn, and you scratch that itch to get a future potential itch where you need lots of cream and antibiotics.
I mean, if he was like a model, like if you're gonna go young and broke, go hot, you know?
Yeah, but for her, I want her to get all of those little taboo things that she have in her head. I want her to get all of that. I want her to get VD. I just want her to experience everything that she feel that she missed.
Listen, if she loves it, I love it. I just don't think at her age and how she's aging like milk, it's a win for her.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion. And let me know when Shan is doing her her disaster dates show, and I'll be sure to show up.
Okay.
All right, my love. Talk to you tomorrow. Okay, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I know this was an extra long show. Thanks for staying with us throughout or even popping in and out. Please like, subscribe, leave some comments below. Tell your friends to show up to this chat show, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.